Hello, welcome to another software tutorial. This is part 2 of my 3-part tutorial series that I am doing in collaboration with Rayon.design. If you want to watch part 1, you can click the link in the description of this video. On part 1, we created this kitchen floor plan together, so you can go watch that if you haven't done that yet. And we are also using this template from the Rayon.design team. You can also access the entire template on the description of this video below. So today we're going to be doing this section, which is actually this wall down here. So let's get into the tutorial. What you want to do first, you want to go to layers and you want to go to the plus, and then under view you want to create a model canvas. So this is going to create a view on top of your floor plan. So before you move any of this, you want to click your control key and just hold it, and now you can actually resize that without changing the scale of the floor plan. And once you are happy with that, you can just click on it and drag it down, and it's going to create a duplicate view of that. So I'm just going to bring that down. You want to click on that and you want to rotate it twice so it's easier for us to start drawing the walls. So now you want to use your line tool, and then you're going to bring those lines up to start doing those cuts where we're going to cut the wall through. So I'm just going to copy that, and I'm going to use that to draw the other lines. Make sure that you are snapping through that, and that's going to be to use as a reference to do our walls. So now what I want to do first, I want to do the concrete slab here at the bottom. So I'm going to activate my wall tool, and then I'm going to click here, and now we're just going to change the thickness to 11 centimeters, and then that's pretty much it. Now what I want to do is I want to do the ceiling as well. So I want to measure first. Let's see if we can do the wall first. So this wall is actually 257 centimeters. So I'm gonna grab my wall tool, and then I'm gonna click here. Make sure that the alignment is to the other side, and then we're gonna do 257. But this wall, it's actually thinner. You can see how our lines is telling us that it is thinner. So I believe that this one is actually 10 centimeters. So I'm just going to copy this one. So I'm just going to select it, and then here copy it over to the top. Finally, we're going to do our other wall. So now this wall is actually 40 centimeters. So I'm just going to change the thickness and do my wall there. And it is matching perfectly with our lines, so it is perfect. Now here in the middle, I also have another wall, so you have to do that. So you can also use your distance to kind of like measure what it is. Just click on one on the other side. That wall is actually 10 centimeters, so we change the thickness to 10, and now you can just draw the wall. And after you have drawn your walls, you could get rid of all of those lines. So just do a window selection and get rid of that. So we have our walls, and now we're going to start adding the details for the walls. So the first thing that I want to do is probably here on the ceiling. So I'm going to do the detail for the ceiling. So you do have kind of like the hole where the lights go, and then you have the gypsum wallboard, and then you have some insulation inside of that hole and then you have the lights coming down from there, like the pot lights. So let's do all of that together. So first off, I want to do a rectangle. So I'm just going to activate my rectangle tool here, and then I'm going to do a rectangle like that. And then what I will do is that I will replace it with a style, or I can just here also like change the fill if I want to do that. So here I can just add a fill and just add like a gray, and maybe play with the opacity so it is looking a little bit more like the other one. And you could also check what is the thickness of that. So if you click on that, that is 10 centimeters thick. So let me just see if this is 11. So 10 there. And now we're gonna do the lights. So I'm gonna use my line tool, and then I'm just gonna do like a line there, and then I will do a rectangle. So I'm gonna do my rectangle, and then maybe this one is a little bit smaller, I believe. I'm just gonna click on the line, and that is the stroke. So I'm just probably gonna do something like that. And then the other one, that one we can also change the filling to something like that, and maybe the stroke we do the same. So I mean, that is pretty close. And now you can just select both of them. So click shift to add to your selection, right click, and then you can group it. And then after you group it, you can create copies, and you want to, like, you know, distance them apart evenly. you probably would want to do that. So last, we're gonna do our installation. So for your installation, you're gonna do a line. You're gonna do one line there. And what you will actually want to do is you want to modify the stroke. If you click here on the stroke and then you add a dash and then you click on that dash, you can just scroll down and you will find your batting, and that's how easy you can add your installation. So here you can change the color of the batting, the weight, so you can make it a little bit smaller, and then also you can scale it up or down. So this is looking pretty nice, and then you can just resize that, and you could also copy that over. Okay, so finally we have those details there, and then under that we have our gypsum wallboard. So you want to do another one, and then for that one you probably want to change the fill to like a white, and that's pretty much it. We can keep moving with our section. So now I want to do here the actual cabinets, the elevation for the cabinets. So it's very easy because you just want to follow the lines from your floor plan. So you just want to use those lines. In theory, they should be the same distance, right? Because it is the same space. So you draw those lines and then you can bring those up and use those. So we have those two, and then we do have a kick here, which is 15 centimeters. So I'm just gonna do a line here. So I'm just gonna do a line from here to here. I'm gonna do another line that's gonna be 15, use as a reference, and then I'm gonna bring that up. Then I can delete that line altogether. So I think this one is also coming up. So right now I'm looking at this line down here, and we have like a little shadow that is going down from there. Now you don't have to do this really, only if you want to like render your sections, then you can do those shadows, but I mean they look pretty nice. And that shadow did not have stroke, so we're just gonna get rid of the stroke. We're just gonna get rid of that, and that's gonna be like this little piece there. Now let's keep going. So now you have those dash lines which are indicating the way on which these doors are opening. So I'm going to start creating those. So in reality, this drawing is not very accurate because this should be a fridge, unless this is actually a fridge. But what I will do is I'm just going to follow here my floor plan, and this is a fridge, and these are, you know, built-in cabinets, tall cabinets. So for the fridge, I can just click on the actual fridge, and then you can see here that the library will show you different views. So there should be one from the front, so I can just click on that and bring it in, and then I can use that to show this view, and it's exactly the same fridge that I was using, and I got rid of that, so I later will bring that in. So anyway, so we just click on that, and here you can change the style of the fridge. If you wanna choose like a different style, like solid black lines, you can change that, and the other lines you can also change the style for the other lines, or you can create your own style. So let me show you. So if you click on that, and let's say that you want to change the stroke to something a little bit lighter, right, something like that. Now let's say you're happy with that, and now this, you can save it as a new style, so you can use it as a like section lines style. So you can do that, and then you can click on the other ones, and then you can pick the style, and then pick on the other one. Oops, that one, pick style, and then pick on the one you want, and it's gonna change it to that. And I can also change the style of the fridge. So let me just replace it with the section line style, which has a fill. So that's if you wanted to do something like that. And to change the line to a hidden or like a dash line, all you have to do is select it, and then you can here change the style, or you can just detach that style from that. So you can just detach the style, and then you can change or add a dash. So we're gonna do like a just dash. Okay, so after we have done the conventions for our cabinets, now you can move on to the other side. So what I will do is I want to start by doing the window. So I'm just gonna click on window, and then you can change. There are like different types of windows, and you can just, you know, import them onto your into your library, and then you will have them accessible here. So if it's this one, and you can choose whatever window you want. You can stretch them, you can also rotate them. Now here on the window you can see that you have like a little detail there that looks like it is the casing for the window, or like a wood part. So you can add something like that by adding a rectangle, but then this rectangle you might want to change the fill. So you can add an image and you can upload something. So let me just try to find something. So I found this one that I have, which is like a wood texture, and then you can change the opacity and you can use something like that to have like a little casing there. So let's keep going. So right now I'm gonna add the furniture to make this a little bit more finished, and finally we're gonna add all the other details. It's probably this one, yeah. So it is this one, and then I'm only gonna bring the front view for now. So let me just find it. So it is this sofa is a little bit lighter, so you can change the style. So this is the styles that are coming with your blocks, but you can change it. I mean, you can replace it and then create your own style and add like your, you know, all of your lines or like whatever fill, whatever color you want. But I had already created the furniture style, which is what I like for this one, so I'm just gonna change it to that. So you can do the wall panels there. You can just copy and paste those. Before I do that, I want to change here to like the wood, the same wood that I was using. So I'm using that wood. So this one is a little bit darker, but you can also make it a little bit lighter. And then I'm just gonna create a copy for those so that it looks the same. Now you may notice that your sofa is going to be on the back, so you can also control the layers of your entities here in Rayon. So if you go here to your layers, you can see all your imported blocks. Now I do recommend you to add layers, specific layers, and like put everything on different layers, so you need to do that after, but it's very easy. Like you only have to like create layers. So let's say if you add like a furniture layer, right? So furniture layer, and now you can just click on your piece of furniture, and then here you're gonna put it on the correct layer. So I would recommend you to do that. And now the layer that is at the top is gonna be the layer that is most forward, so similar to Photoshop. Now we have that, and it is coming very nicely together. So finally, I'm gonna show you how to add, like you can add here like the wall color, like that texture. You could do a color, or you could do like another image. So we can do a rectangle, and then you can just do something from here to here, and then you can change that fill to something like lighter. And now that rectangle, maybe you want to add like another layer. So maybe you create a layer that says like background colors or walls, whatever, and then that you want to bring that to the layer. And then this one, if you put it like underneath it, it's gonna go behind all of that. So now this one you can just copy it over, or you can add an image or the texture or whatever you are planning to add on that wall. Okay, so next is the art. So we have something like this. So we can use rectangles again to create something like this. So for example, I'm gonna do one, and now this one you can make it like a little bit darker, and you can use that as a frame, and then maybe you get rid of the stroke for that, and then you can do another lighter one. And then you can do another one. And how would you add something like this little design? Now you could add the image of the actual artwork that you're gonna add, but you could also use here the curve, and I mean you can kind of like play with that and just create whatever you want. Something crazy could be, and make sure that you do not have a fill there. Remove the fill, and you can close that off or just do your little design. It's really up to you. And now you could make all of these a group, so you can just select all of them and then make them a group so that they are not loose, moving around. To add the dimensions, you want to click here on the dimension tool, and you can, modify the color of the text. We did go through this on part 1 of this tutorial series, how to do dimensions and how modify them and how to save your dimensions, because you can also create styles for your dimensions, which is what we did in that first tutorial. So if you want to check that, you can check that. But here I'm just going to click the one that I had created, which is the red dimensions, and then I'm just going to start, adding those dimensions to my floor plan. So you see here that the text has an arrow that is called a leader in architectural terms. So here you can check the leader and then you can just draw it. So for example, if this is a fridge, you're just gonna draw one line there and then come another one, and then you're just gonna do like the annotation to refrigerator 36 inches, I don't know, in width or whatever. And finally, you can add those little details like the outlet. You can bring those blocks. There are already blocks created for you for the outlets and things like that. But you can also create your own. Like if you want to create your own outlet and design it, you can just use all these shapes and kind of like, make your own outlet. Like it's really up to you. Like that's how fast you can do it. Finally, so the little accessories, you may want to bring those blocks from the library. So if we search for like plant, so for example, I want a plant that it is on a side view. Let's see if this one has it. So this one, no, I want a hanging plant. So let me try to find a hanging plant. Let me try to look for a hanging plant. I'm not sure I'm gonna find it. It's not here, guys. Okay, so let me just check on that. So if I click on that, it is called hanging marble pot. So marble, let's try that. Maybe it's not gonna be in this library. Oh, it is here. So let me just, it is this one, we found it. So front view, side view, we're gonna do front view, I guess. So let me just bring that and look for that. It is here. Oh, that looks so pretty. That looks fine. And I'm just gonna change here the style to, I'm gonna use my furniture style. And I also show you how to do your different styles on that first part tutorial. So there you go. So I think that's pretty much it. What else did we not cover? So the little detail for the section, we still have to cover that. And you already know, like the other accessories would also be blocks that you're gonna bring from the libraries. For this section, what you wanna do is you wanna go to your blocks. They are already here, and under libraries, there is gonna be the annotations library, I think it's called. So you're gonna have a library that is called title blocks and annotations, and here you're gonna have all the annotations for your sections, for your elevations, all of your symbols. So let's say that you are wanting to bring this one. So you would just bring that. So this is an elevation mark. So this one would go, for example, here. So you import it, and once it's in your blocks, it's gonna be here. So now you can just bring it, and now it's gonna be really tiny because this is actually, it's created for paper space. So same thing like in AutoCAD, how your annotations are in a different scale than your actual furniture. So that is why it is so tiny. If you were bringing that to like a paper canvas, it'll be the correct scale. But if you're bringing that to this canvas, which is model space or model canvas, then you would have to resize that. And then here you can also change like the style and all of that. But yeah, that's pretty much it, and that's how you would do something like that. For the section, it would be exactly the same thing I already showed you. You would do like your wall detail, you can add a hatch, you can add like the rectangles and then add the image, change the opacity, bringing all of your little like accessories and things like that, add your dimensions, your text. It's really easy to do it. You just need to get started. So I'm gonna fast forward this video as I finish my section, and that's basically it for this tutorial. So thank you so much for watching. We still have one last tutorial as part of this series in collaboration with Rayon.design. If it is already available, you will find all of that in the description of this video. Okay, bye!